What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Philadelphia Flyers game review. Me and intern Dave here are going to be discussing Flyers 4-3 overtime victory over the Islanders and kind of what that means for the season going forward, because in reality, it saved our season. So we'll get to that later, and then we'll preview a little bit of Game 3 tonight and get you guys ready for that. So Dave, after our Game 1 review, which was kind of a depressing review since they got beat on a little bit in a 4-0 loss, we kind of said how the Flyers have too many times we hear that the Flyers are weathering the storm. Yeah. And how while that can be great, it also, like, why aren't we ever the storm? Why don't we ever come out hot? And this was by far the Flyers' best first period of since coming back in the bubble in the playoffs. They come out, they get 3 goals in the first 18 minutes. They get Varlamov pulled in the first period with 2.5 minutes left. And they were firing all cylinders. The big guys came to play. Hayes got 2 early. Coots had an amazing goal, one-on-one with the defenseman. Took a hit to the chin and kept going and got one past Varlamov. So what did you see from the Flyers in the first period?
Man, exactly what you just said. They came out and they knew that they had to be the hot start. They couldn't try and weather a hot start again because we saw how that went in Game 1. So I mean, I think they came out with a purpose. I mean, honestly, that's what they got to do from here on out. But they came out with a purpose, and they got 3 in quick. I don't know if maybe Varlamov was just having a bad day. I mean, it happens. But, I mean, regardless, we owned that first period. And, I mean, that's really the reason why we were able to win that game, I think, was that first period.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny because we were watching the game together, and, you know, he only needed 40 seconds coming into the game to set an Islanders record for the longest period of time without giving up a goal, and then he gets pulled in the first period. So it was a great start. It was very relieving, I'd say, in my opinion, to see the big guy step up, especially Sean Couturier, because he's been doing the little things that most people don't notice watching a hockey game throughout the course of the game, but offensively, he wasn't involved at all. He looked slow in the Canadian series. He looked slow in Game 1. And then you see him get his feet under him in Game 2, and he looked really good. Kevin Hayes with an absolute snipe to open up the game at just like 2.5 minutes in. And then he follows that up with a 2-on-1. And Varlamov, I believe, was expecting cross-ice pass for a tip-in. And he read pass, and Hayes went short side and snuck it in between the post and his shoulder. But then, Dave, things got a little dicey.
They did.
So the second period, I want to say it got dicey yet in the second period. It was 3-1 going into the third. The Islanders had a power play goal in the second period, which was just a great play. Was that Anders Lee in the front? Or
Barzal or Beaulier passed the puck for him to deflect in.
Yeah, and he's huge. And Niskanen, I think, watching it back, obviously it's easy for me to say, but Niskanen, I think, should have played his stick. Instead, Niskanen was playing the other side of his body, and he left his stick right in front of the net for Carter Hart. He's just too big. Niskanen wasn't going to get him out of the crease. Yeah, and it was just a nice play by the Islanders. But I think what you saw in the second period was the Flyers, like, after the first couple minutes, took their foot off the gas pedal, which me and you were saying in the first period, it was like so relieving to see. Like in the Canadian series, what did the Flyers do? The Flyers would get a goal or two and then sit back and literally hold on for dear life for 50 more minutes, right? Yep. They didn't do that this first period. Like I was comfortable with a 2-0 lead, and then we were sitting here like, oh, there goes Coots, 3-0 Varlamov pulled. I'm like, wow, like this team came out on fire today. And then in the second period, foot off the gas pedal. You let the Islanders get in and start playing their game, which is getting in on the forecheck, digging pucks off the boards, and then setting up their offense 5-on-5 in our zone, because they are just too good and too smooth passing the puck and setting up their offense in the offensive zone. And the Flyers, you can speak to this because we talked about it yesterday a little bit. The Flyers sit back, like they crowd in defensively, which in a power play makes perfect sense. 5-on-5, I'm not understanding it, because essentially, like, you're taking away, you're crowding the lane with so many bodies of your own, not just Islanders, taking away Carter Hart's eyes, adding more sticks and bodies and skates for deflections, and you're letting their 2-point men just pass the puck, cycle the puck around, and that's why the Islanders are in our zone for so long.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's also a testament to how well the Islanders move the puck. On 5-on-5, like, I haven't seen it really since the restart, a team that's been better 5-on-5 that can just set up in the zone that easily and just
keep possession.
Yeah, keep possession and get chances almost any time they're set up in the zone. Whereas the Flyers, it's kind of set up here, set up there, odd man rush here, odd man rush there. But it seems like when the Islanders are on, they're able to get the puck in and out of the zone as easy as they want and set up as easy as they want. And yesterday proved that they can finish those chances with just as good as anybody in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like
when you're giving them opportunities in your own zone, they're gonna capitalize on them. They're just that good of a team. They're well coached, and I think that showed yesterday.
Right, and another thing that we were speaking about yesterday was the fact that the Islanders like to push up, their defensemen push up, which the Flyers do sometimes as well. But when you beat them, the issue in Game 1 was the Flyers didn't execute. That was the word, yes. Execute. Yeah. Just the energy was there in the second period in Game 1. The execution wasn't there. Konechny had a block shot off the skate. Couturier put one off the pipe. Hayes lost his stick handle on the way onto an empty to a one-on-one with Varlamov. And yesterday, right out of the jump, minute and a half, 2 minutes in, you saw the Flyers execute on their shorthanded, and which kind of I think took the sails out of the Islanders early and which I think took away from their offensive game plan, and where they can get pucks in, get in on their forecheck, bring their defensemen up, and then get possession. Where the Flyers were getting the puck out easily, not allowing the Islanders get in on their forecheck, and then taking the other way for a shorthanded chance the other way. But let's get to the claps, Dave, because oh man. So the Flyers take a 3-1 lead into the third period. And then for the first, I think it got to like the 10.5 minute mark. And I'm like, okay, the Islanders came out hot, but the Flyers, once again, I want to say it, weathered the storm for this period. You have a 2-goal lead. Let's just close this one out, go into Game 3 feeling good about ourselves. And then all of a sudden, the Islanders get one in under Carter Hart's weak side arm, and it's 3-2. And then with 2:09 left, the Flyers fail to clear the puck. Sanheim tries to get the puck out along the boards. Couturier doesn't get out of the zone far enough, so he's at the blue line. His defender's right there. Hits off the Islander skate, trickles back to an Islander, and he's got one-on-one with Carter Hart and puts it under the crossbar over his shoulder. So now it's 3-3 with 2:09, and then what does AV do? And I trust AV with my life. This man, once they were challenging, I was like, he must have seen something. He would not do this. He would not risk going shorthanded after you lost all the momentum in the world, giving up a 3-goal lead. Now it's 3-3 with 2 minutes left. He would not risk giving up the Islanders a power play with 2:09 left. And look, we can talk about the call for a second, I guess. It was very close. I think the ref came back quickly. But the thing that I showed you the picture that John Clark zoomed in on, and it looked like offsides to me. But the thing that I didn't recognize yesterday that I was made aware of is that he didn't have to touch if he didn't touch the puck, the puck can cross the blue line before the guy offsides reaches the blue line and gets to the blue line. So with that body being in the way, they weren't able to tell if his stick was touched or going towards the puck. And if that's the case, it's inconclusive. You cannot call it offsides. So I think at that point, how are you feeling with 2:09 left? The Flyers blow a 3-goal lead, give up 2 within 8 minutes in the third period, and now you're shorthanded and you've lost all the momentum in the world.
I wasn't feeling good because, like you said, you lost all the momentum you had in the game, giving up 3 straight goals. And then on top of that, you literally gift wrap them a power play.
Yes.
You don't get a penalty. You don't high stick somebody. You don't rough somebody. You don't hook somebody. You literally just say, here's a power play. You know what I mean? And that gives them a chance. What I said to my dad after the game was that if you have a power play, or if you get a penalty called on you in under 2 minutes left in a tie game, you're not giving yourself any chance to win the game. You're giving yourself a chance to lose the game. And that's what happened.
You're fighting for overtime.
Yeah. Fortunately, obviously, we were able to get out of it, and we were able to send it to overtime. But, man, I would have been happy to have been an Islanders fan with 2:09 left in the third period.
Yeah, listen, Kevin Hayes, because we talked about him earlier, getting 2 goals in the first period. Kevin Hayes was also played a huge role on that last penalty kill with 2 minutes left.
Yep.
Which doesn't get talked about enough. He almost, if he would have got that backhand shot in, spinning around the defender.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, the Flyers survived. They get to overtime. And even going into overtime, I'm like, there's just, I don't know. Like, I know they're fighting for their season right now, and that's got to be what's getting talked about in the locker room from AV. Like, look, guys, like, yes, we blew a 3-0 lead, but we need this game. Like, but at the same time, I just thought that their confidence, their momentum, it was shot.
Yeah.
But you said it. They had to score quick in the overtime and put the Islanders out, and not let them get momentum, keep getting momentum and setting up their offense and getting looks at Carter Hart from the point with bodies in front. And that's exactly what the Flyers did. Coots had an opportunity to put him way in front of the net. Unfortunately, he put it high. But then, I don't know, like the Islanders just didn't see it, but it went high off the boards. Coots was the only one to track it down and get to the puck quickly. Plays it off the boards for Myers, who said in his press conference after that he was calling for it because he saw he had a lane to shoot. And that's why he went with a one-timer instead of playing the puck first and then looking for a lane because he's seen it and he wanted to get the puck off his stick as quickly as possible. It takes a nice deflection off the ice and a stick and gets past, Grice? Which is another thing that we didn't talk about is the fact that the Flyers, it just really bothered me that you get Varlamov, who just set a record and shut you out in game 1. You get him out of the game in the first period. And I understand they scored 3 in the first period, and they're not going to score 2 more and then 3 more in the third. Like, I'm not asking for 7, 6, 7, 8 goals. But what I'm saying is at least keep your foot on the gas pedal a little bit. And because now you have this goalie coming fresh off the bench, not warmed up whatsoever, and he didn't get a sweat for the next 2. He didn't work a sweat for the next 2 periods.
Yeah.
On overtime.
Yeah, you gotta put chances on a guy like that because not only he's a backup, but not only is he a backup, but he's also backing up, like you said, one of the hottest goalies in Islanders history. He just broke the record for the
longest time
goals in that time span. So his mindset coming in over the past couple of games and probably coming into this game is that this guy's hot. I might not see the ice tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as soon as he does, and I feel like they started up the game as soon as he got in the crease. They didn't let him stretch or anything. I feel like I felt like it was a restart after that. I just like I was saying, you got to get chances on this guy. You got to get chances on this guy. You got to get him rattled. And like last night, I don't know if you watched it, the Tampa Bay Boston game. They switched over to a young kid. Halak got pulled. They put 2 goals in on him. Like you got to get chances on a backup goalie. I thought it was a little weak. I thought it was a little weak that they didn't get a goal before the end of regulation on this guy, but I don't know. Maybe he was playing good.
I just didn't have any good looks on him. But look, let's just talk about what game 2 meant before and Myers' goal meant before we get into game 3. Because in all reality, I know it's kind of harsh to say because it is a 7-game series and this was only game 2. That goal saved the series, and that goal saved the season.
Absolutely. I think so. Flat
out. Because we said going into game 2, you could not – going down 2-0 to this team would have been tough to come back from. To blow a 3-0 first period lead and getting the hottest goalie in the playoffs probably pulled, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm a little late on this comment, but again, intern Dave is awesome. Yes, he is.
Good.
Yes, he is. But yeah, it honestly, to me, it saved the season. It was the most important period. of the entire season up to this point. Obviously, that's easy to say. Overtime, game 2, you're down 1-0, but I really mean it. And now going forward, because I say that because if you blow that lead, Varlamov being pulled in the first period, and you go down 2-0 in the series, you have no momentum whatsoever. You probably are lacking a lot of confidence going into game 2. Okay. And now you squeak out a win that you probably at the end of it had no business pulling out. And now you're looking, and also because game 3 is in a back-to-back.
Yep.
So it's a quick turnaround. I think it was huge for the Flyers' confidence to say, okay, even though we blew that game, AB didn't coach his best. Like Giroux, Konechny still aren't finding the back of the net. Let's move forward to game 3 and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, the one thing that I said after the game when I was talking with my dad about it was that, the Flyers are lucky for 2 reasons after game 2. It's that A, they squeaked out a win when they probably shouldn't have, and B, they squeaked out a win after learning a huge lesson with this team. Mm-hmm. You cannot let your foot off the gas with this team. They will they are a team that will fight for 60 minutes, no matter how big your lead is. Doesn't matter. They're gonna stick around and they're gonna give you fits the entire game. That's just how they are. That's how they're coached.
And that's Barry Trotz.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, but let's move forward to game 3 tonight at 7. Look, we spoke on it yesterday too. It's funny. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything, but the Flyers have not lost in their road white unis.
Yeah.
So games 3 and 4 are technically on the road. So the Flyers will be back in white tonight. So I'm interested to see. Hopefully they can keep that little streak going. But all right. So yesterday we talked about being the Storm in game 2, you coming out on the hot start, bringing the fight to the Islanders, scoring first because all the Islanders need is 1. And then they pack it in and they make it extremely difficult in front of that what was a hot goaltender in Varlamov, and you're in trouble. So, Dave, let's start with this. How important is the first goal tonight?
Insanely important. Like you said, if the Islanders score first, they're going to pack it in and they're going to wait for you to be over-aggressive, and then they're going to capitalize on you again and get a second goal, then a third goal. And then that's just how they are. And they're going to finish their chances. So, I mean, yeah, and I don't know if they've announced who's starting tonight. I assume it's probably going to be Varlamov. I would think they're probably going to go back to him. But if you can get another quick one on him, man, those wheels are going to start turning in his head and on the Islanders bench. Like, what's going on? So that first goal is huge, and you saw that yesterday. But no matter what happens and who scores first, can't let your foot off the gas with this team.
No. I completely agree with you. The first goal is extremely important in my eyes. With that being said, if the Flyers go down 1-0 early in the first period, I'm not going to be like, pack it up, like it's over. But like you said, it makes the game much, much harder, especially against the team, because they are going to execute like that. What you said was in my mind, ready to say. They're going to pack it in. They're going to play great defense in front of Varlamov. They're going to make you shoot from the outside. They're not going to let you get bodies inside and take his eyes away or get cross-ice passes in their zone. And then when you make a mistake, when you push your defenseman too far up, when you turn the puck over in the neutral zone, it's going to go the other way, and it's going to be in the back of the net 9 times out of 10 with this team.
Yep.
So I completely agree with you. Hopefully the Flyers get out to another hot start tonight and don't let their foot off the gas. Look, we're not sitting here saying that the Flyers need to be overly aggressive for 60 minutes. But when you get a lead, don't sit back, because the Flyers' version of sitting back is holding on for dear life for the rest.
Relying on Carter.
Yeah, and it can't happen. So I'm so glad you said his name, because that's my next talking point for Game 3, Dave. Carter Hart was outstanding against the Canadiens. He's been very good, I think, in Game 1 and 2. I don't fault him for any of the 3 goals, and then the empty netter, obviously, in Game 1. And then last game, it's tough to even fault him for those, because the third goal, you had the turnover in your zone, 1-on-1, great shot under the crossbar over shoulder. It's really hard to make.
It's in an awkward spot, too, where in between the glove and the helmet.
Yeah. It's very hard to make. Because the way you look at it, like some people say, he's got to make that save. But if he makes that glove save, people are going nuts about how he just about what a glove save and how he just robbed them and saved the game, and that's a completely different tone than he's got to make that save. The second goal to make it 3-2, it was tough. It was a fast break opportunity, shorthanded, and I forget who scored the second goal for the Islanders, but he got it off his stick so quickly that it didn't give Carter a chance to close up. And also, Chris Therrien pointed out in the post game, I don't know if you saw it, but it almost looked as if Carter showed him 5-hole and took it away, and he meant to shoot it 5-hole, and the puck trickled and spun up.
Yeah.
So he meant to go 5-hole, it looked like, and it ended up going under Carter's armpit. And then the first goal, like we said, the power play goal, shorthanded, great pass to Andersley, deflection, Niskanen had bad position. So, again, you really can't fault him for the goals, and I think that's pretty remarkable that Carter Hart has given up 3 goals in the first 2 games, and the series is tied 1-1. So, Dave, Carter Hart, he's due to steal a game, right?
I think so. I mean, like we said, the 2 goals, really the 3 goals, were all not Carter's fault. He could have made a save here, could have made a save there, but at the end of the day, I think he played a pretty good game. He made a lot of big saves. But even though I'm saying that, I'm sure he thinks he could do better. And I think he's due for a shutout, maybe a 1-goal game or something like that. And hopefully it's tonight.
Right, because what did he have coming into the series? I think he had like a 1.67 goals against average, or it was high. It was mid to high ones. It was under 2, obviously, and now he's allowed 3 in each of the first 2 games. Like we said, not really his fault, but in his mind, he can't be happy with that. And I expect Carter Hart to not bounce back, obviously, because he doesn't have really anything to bounce back on, but just build off of the first 2 games. And I think he might steal a game for you tonight, Dave.
Yeah, hopefully. I think, I'll be honest, the least of my worries right now with this team is Carter. The least of my worries. I'm not. He had three in the first game, 3 in the second game. I'm not bothered. I'm not worried.
Right. So before we get into our final predictions and our 3 stars of tonight's game, Dave, AV made a couple adjustments line wise. So one, which wasn't really a surprise to me, or I don't think any Flyers fans out there, Shane Gosselsberg was not dressed for game 2. Robert Haig was back in the lineup. I don't think that was a shocker to anybody with the way Ghost handled the puck and turned the puck over in game 1. I don't think he's playable this series with the way that he matches up against the Islanders.
Yeah.
So good move there. He also, kind of shocking to me, moved Scott Lawton out of the lineup in game 2 and put JVR back in. Now, I understand that JVR has not played well or played up to expectation this season. I understand he has not played well since coming back to the bubble in Canada. But he is a much better hockey player than Scott Lawton. And I think Scott Lawton overperformed the season. And I think, because that line with him connecting and Hayes was on fire for a lot of the season.
Yep.
And he has been god-awful since the Montreal series started. And in game 1 against the Islanders, he's turning the puck over way too much. He's not producing anything for you offensively. What really was he doing for you? So why not bring a bigger body guy in JVR, a more seasoned guy, a guy that's been in the postseason much more, a more skilled guy flat out, and a guy that can help you on the power play, which Scott Lawton's not going to help you on the power play. So what do you think about the move? I love it. I understand JVR has been kind of a disappointment this year, but I'd rather have James Van Riemsdyk like in my lineup than Scott Lawton.
Yeah, I agree. I think AV made a good call. I was wrong heading into in between the series when I said Ghost. I was
always talking.
I was wrong about Ghost in between the series. I said I think he deserves to play. Maybe he did deserve to play, and they gave him a chance in game 1. But I just think that his decision making and his style of play is just a liability against this Islanders team. And I agree. I think JVR is a more seasoned player. We paid him a good bit of money to come back here. I think you got to play him, and you got to he needs to produce. And I think he knows that.
I also think he needs to be on a higher line because I think that's another reason you've seen his production go down because when you throw him out there, I don't remember who he played with yesterday, but let's say you throw him out there with Derek Grant and Michael Raffle or whatever his line was, or Albe Cabell. I think you need to see him up with, like, I think he should have just replaced Scott Lawton in his line.
Yeah.
JBR, Hayes, and Konechny.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, I just had one thing for you, buddy. If you're still listening, TJ is a bigger bucket than you are, and not TJ Warren, TJ McConnell. So, Dave, let's get to our final predictions tonight for the Flyers Game 3 and our 3 stars. I'll start with you.
Okay, so I think the Islanders are going to come out mad, and I think they're going to come out tough. I think the Flyers may need to weather the storm early. I know we say that, and it sucks to say that, but I think the Islanders are going to come out hard fast because I think they're going to be angry about yesterday. But I do think that the Flyers know how to beat this team now. And they got to put one in quick, and they got to keep them coming early and often. So I'm thinking, I think that this game right here honestly may decide the series, to be completely honest.
Well, whoever takes the 2-1 series lead, I don't know the percentage and the odds off the top of my head, but I know it's very high.
Yeah, you don't want to have to chase this team 2 games in a row. You know what I mean? You don't have to chase this team loss win. You don't want to have to do that. So I think this game could decide the series, and I think that AV knows that, captain knows that, the team knows that. I think we're going to get out of here with a 3-1 win. I'll say my 3 stars, Carter, only letting in 1. I'm going to say Drew gets his first, and Raffle gets 1. Sleeper.
Ready for this?
I'm ready. Shut out.
That's what the Isles get tonight, because Carter Hart is tired of averaging 3 goals against the series.
That's what we need.
Carter Hart steals this game. I think the Flyers put 2, maybe 3 in the back of the net. So Carter Hart is my first star. I'm saying a 3-2-0 Flyers win. And then I'm going to say TK finally gets 1 in the back of the net and gets his confidence back, because he just looks frustrated. Every time he puts the puck on net, it's getting swallowed up, and he's always looking up at the sky.
Looking up at the sky.
Yeah, he's frustrated. I think it boosts his confidence to get 1 in the back of the net today. And I'm going to say Michael Raffle with you. He puts 1 in the back of that. I don't know why. You might see a reappearance of the Raffle Shuffle from a couple of seasons ago.
Raffle puts 1 in. You heard it here first. We both are feeling it.
Yeah, goose egg for Carter Hart. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let's go Flyers. Let's hope that next time we're talking, the Flyers are taking a 2-1 series lead into Saturday. Have a nice night.